Tonight, we have more snap grades of Jetburn reveals. I am going to be doing a 2-for-1 tonight with Dobby 3 and Endeavor 3. Endeavor 3 was shown today by Ty's House of Cards, and Dobby 3 was shown yesterday by Wasi Plays. Before you watch this video, please go and watch the official reveal videos if you have not already. They did an awesome job, and I am just looking to give some more reaction and some snap grades on these cards. First off, we have Dobby 3. He is a 6-hander on the Chaos, Evil, and Fire symbols, 28 health. Your rival checks against a 5. If they fail, reveal the top card of your deck. Okay, so you'll see the top card of your deck 2 or 3 times over a turn cycle. Kind of similar to Shigaraki 3, except for revealing the top card is certainly not as good as drawing a card. But he also gets this other enhance. This attack is +1 or -1 speed for each check your rival has made during this attack. So it's not necessarily about the effect you're getting from them failing the check. It's really about just that they made a check, because every time they make a check, you're getting +1 speed or -1 speed. So if you get them to make 2 checks during the attack, it'll be an extra 2 speed. And of course, we know how strong this is on defense, right? If you pair this guy with Mastermind's Apprentice, which says your remove a foundation, your rival makes a check against a difficulty of 6. If they fail, this attack gets, I believe it's -2 speed or +1 speed. So in Dobby, that would then become -2 speed or +3 speed. And then of course you're also going to be using the Dobby enhance on, and you're getting another +1 or -1 just from having them make that check. So really it would be -4 speed or +3 speed. He just kind of gets crazy the more you have your rival make checks. Once this guy gets a Mastermind's Apprentice on board, watch out. It also works well with like Vial Seizing, League Invitation, and a lot of other check cards like that Shigaraki 3 had. And then he gets response. After your attack deals damage, your rival loses 1 health. That's pretty nice, burning him for 1 every time you do some damage. And also it can kill your rival, right? It doesn't say this attack can't reduce your rival below 1 health. This can actually kill them. So I'm going to give this character a B-. I don't think he's going to be ultra competitive, but I do think he could be a really fun locals character. And he does pair really well on the evil symbol of Shigaraki 3's kit. So I think he's going to be more fun than actually good. But let's jump into his kit, because I think his kit is where he really shines. I view Dobby 3 and his kit almost kind of the opposite of Best Jeanist. I read Best Jeanist and I loved the character, but then I didn't really like his kit. I was kind of meh on his kit, which is going to kind of hold Best Jeanist back probably in competitive play, despite I feel like he read pretty well in face. Dobby 3 is the opposite. Don't really like how he reads on face too much, but I feel like his kit is really strong. So let's jump straight into it with his ultra rare Blue Flame Torment. 5 low 5, card pool flip, discard 1 momentum. After your rival makes a check, it gets -2. Failing that check will not end the combat phase. This can be used on defense or on offense, which makes it pretty neat. Right, on defense, this is basically Breaker 2, but you get to choose when it happens. So if you don't want it to happen early in the attack string, you can wait and use it later. On offense, it's going to be +2 speed to something down the line. It does require a momentum, but it's still nice to have. It's not nothing. Enhance, your rival checks against a 6. If they fail, this attack gets +1 damage. And your next check to play an attack is +1. You may play this enhance 2 times this enhance step. So basically, you can play this enhance twice, which means this attack is going to get +3 speed just from Dobby 3. So it's really an 8 low 5, which is very good. If they fail both of those, it's an 8 low 7. That is super solid stats. Or at worst, it's just an 8 low 5 that stuns 2, which is still really good. And there's a potential that this isn't really a 5 difficulty attack. It's a 3 difficulty attack, because if they fail both times, your next check is getting +2. I really like this card. It's also got the Fury keyword, which is a great keyword to have on these symbols. I love this card. I think it's A tier. Maybe I should have put A-. It's probably not insane, but I do think it's going to be finding its way into a lot of different builds. All right, Blue Flame Immolation. We have a 4 high 5, card pool, lose 1 health. Your rival checks against a 5. If they fail, this attack gets +1/+1. That feels very, very strong. It does require losing a health, but you can use it on this attack and all future attacks. You're getting them to make another check, which basically means that all your future attacks get a speed in Dobby 3. Now, I do wish that this made them check against a 6. The checking against a 5 kind of feels bad to me, since you are losing 1 health. Feels like sometimes if you're not playing Dobby 3 and you're not getting a benefit simply from having your rival make a check, it feels like sometimes your rival's just going to pass all their checks and all you did was lose health on your turn. Like lose 3 or 4 health. And that can be a big feel bad. In Dobby 3, it's certainly very strong. I'm just not sure about other characters if it's going to see the same utilization. Deadlock response card pool. After you lose health to pay a cost, your rival loses 1 health, period. It can kill your rival. Very, very cool card. I want to play it, and I want to find some really cool homes for this, but I think it's going to be in the B- tier, and it's probably not going to be in a lot of optimized lists, but it is a cool card, and I can see how it could find its way into different builds. 4 difficulty attack, quick burn. 4 mid for 4, okay, base stats for a 4 diff attack. Name a card type, reveal the top card of your deck. If the card matches the named card type, add it to your momentum. So if you don't know the top card of your deck, I guess you would name Foundation, right? And typically you play about 60% Foundations. So a 60% chance of getting a free momentum, that feels pretty strong. But if you can manipulate your deck in any way to where you know the top card of your deck, of course Dobby 3 gets to do that on face sometimes, but a lot of different characters can manipulate their deck in different ways. Then you could 100% get a free momentum. And a 4 difficulty attack getting you a free momentum feels really nice. You can use it on itself and get powerful 3, which is a good use, but you could also use it later for more interesting builds. And then he gets this enhanced, your rival's next check, this enhanced step gets -2. So basically that's like 2 more speed, right? You can choose which check to use it on, of course, with Dobby 3, but you probably want to use this on speed. And then it's like a 6 mid 4. If you got the momentum, it's like a 6 mid 7. That's really, really good stats at that point. I'm going to put this in the B+. I don't think it's quite A tier, but I can see a lot of different decks running this card. It's got the ranged keyword, which is a nice keyword here. Yeah, I think it's almost A tier, but just not quite. I do suspect it'll be in a lot of lists. And then we have Burn Combo. 2 low 4, your rival checks against a 6. If they fail, this attack, your next attack gets +2 speed. So at best, this is 10 stats for a 4 diff, which is fine, but it's not doing anything else for you. It's a 3 high block. This is a C tier card. I really doubt it's going to see any serious sort of competitive play. All right, League Handler. 3 difficulty, 4 check. Rival's turn, remove. After your rival makes a check, that check gets -X. X equals the number of checks they have made the combat phase. Failing that check will not end the combat phase. This seems very strong, especially in like Dobby 3, where this is going to get to -5, -6 really fast. But it does have that key line at the end. Failing that check will not end the combat phase. So if your rival has a lot of cards in hand, right? Let's say they're playing the good symbol and they just have like 10 cards in hand. Really, all this Foundation is saying is, hey, discard a card. They'll get rid of the card, they'll fail the check, and they'll go on their merry way. You really have to time this appropriately to have it be extraordinarily strong. I do like this attack. I do like this Foundation. I just feel like if I was on the evil symbol, I think I would rather be playing League Invitation still. Yeah, I'm not quite sure it's there. I'm going to go ahead and give it B tier, because I do see its strength, but I also think it's not as strong as people's initial reactions to it were. It does have Deadlock Breaker too, which is nice. Activating Hood. Mill 1, your rival checks against a 6. If they fail, commit this card and this attack is +2 damage. I'm sure they'll almost always choose to fail. They would rather just have your deck at 2 damage rather than them stun 1, right? Because then you're just going to use this again on your next attack if they don't fail it. So most of the time they're probably just going to fail, and then you commit for 2 damage, and then you can flip it while it's committed. Your next check to play a card gets +1. That's nice, but a 2 difficulty Foundation, you got to be doing more for me than just flipping for +2 damage, basically, right? Because the commit doesn't really matter if you then get to flip it for a check to get +1. So you got to do more for me as a 2 difficulty Foundation. This is going into the C tier. I'll give it C+. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but it honestly probably shouldn't get the plus. It's just a C tier card. All right, 1 difficulty Foundation, no remorse, 3 low block. So it's a spam Foundation. Enhance, flip. If your rival has made 3 or more checks this turn, draw 1 card. This is pretty easy for most characters, right? So if your rival has played, if this is like their 3rd attack, then you get to flip to draw a card. Or if your rival's blocked 3 times, you get to flip to draw a card. If they've played any sort of actions, you can do it even sooner. If you're Shigaraki 3 or Dabi 3, you can make them do it really soon. I think there's no way that this isn't an A tier card. A spam Foundation saying flip draw a card is good, and we'll see play, right? We have Yeah, I mean, it's like Chivalrous Competitor. It's not going to protect your foundations, but at least you're not making your rival draw a card too, But I guess you can't play it at the very beginning like Chivalrous Competitor, so it's probably not nearly as good as that, but I still think it's A tier. A spam foundation saying flip draw is just always going to be good. And then we have one difficulty foundation, Fiery Confrontation. Flip, after your rival makes a check to play an attack or action, that check gets -1. Failing that check will not end the combat phase. So basically a spam foundation that says flip, breaker 1, has a 3 mid block. I'm going to put this in the B tier. I feel like it's the definition of B tier. It's going to find its way into a lot of lists just because it's a generically nice spam foundation that can work well in everybody who wouldn't want this kind of effect. But it's not doing anything like super strong, and it is a 3 mid block modifier. So this feels like the definition of B tier to me. I know it's a reprint of like an earlier card. I'm not sure how strong the earlier card was in standard or retro. Maybe someone who played pre-MHA can let me know if it was like a really, really heavily played card. But I think this will be the B tier. I don't quite see it being A tier, although I do see that it will probably be heavily run. And that is going to do it for Dobby 3's kit. Let us move on to Endeavor 3. 6-hander, 31 health, mill 4. Your attack gets +2 speed. If you cycled this game, it gets +3 damage. Okay, that seems pretty insane. After you cycle, which you'll cycle really fast because all of this guy's kit mills things, then you're basically giving all of your attacks +2 speed, +3 damage for free. I shouldn't say for free because it does come at the cost of milling 4, which after you've cycled, this guy can very easily mill himself out if he doesn't find the lethal attack string soon enough. He's kind of like Dobby 2 in that way, that he can burn himself out. But +2, +3 is insane for free on every single attack. And as we'll see in his kit, he's also going to be giving more plus speed and damage as we go on. The problem is that he's a 6-hander with no defense on face, and he does want to live to see turn 4, right? Sometimes he's going to get it. He's going to cycle on turn 3. If he finds some wacky combos like we'll talk about later, he can cycle on turn 2. But most of the time, he's probably going to be wanting to live until turn 4, and he has no defense on face. He's a 6-hander, so that might be hard. He does have 31 health, so that can count as some defense, right? But yeah, it's still going to be a problem of staying alive, and your rival is going to want to, punch you in the mouth before you cycle. They're going to want to do as much damage as they can, or they'll want to build as big of a defensive wall as they can so that they can survive when you cycle. But he does improve on his consistency from his form. Once per game, add 1 attack from your removed from game pile to your hand. This ability cannot be canceled. That's pretty insane, because as soon as this guy cycles, all he needs to do is find the attacks. If he can play 5 attacks that are getting +2, +3, +3, +4, or whatever he gets with this kit, you're just not going to survive probably no matter how much of a wall you've built up. So this makes him really, really consistent. The form does. Once per game doesn't really matter because as soon as you use it, you're going to want to be finding lethal that turn. And you get to selectively pick the attack out of your removed pile. So you'll probably have 3 or 4 attacks in there after you cycle, and you get to pick the very best one for your win that game. So that definitely brings much needed consistency. For that reason, I'm going to put him in the A tier. I'm going to say A-, simply because 6-hander with no defense kind of worries me a little bit. He's definitely a mid-range character. For example, like Shoto 1 is like a mid-range character in that he needs to build up his discard pile to be giving damage to everything. But Shoto 1 gets the ability to cancel and enhance. And he's a 7-hander that gets access to like the defense of the water symbol and things. Just feels like he can stay alive pretty easily. I'm not sure Endeavor 3 can stay alive consistently enough, but I'm sure people will find ways to cycle super quickly. And 31 health is nothing to laugh at. So, all right, his ultra rare, Prominence plus ultra prominence burn. 4 low 5. After you discard cards from the top of your deck during this enhanced step, your rival commits 1 foundation. You may play this response 3 times. So stun 3 if you can do it 3 times. That's awesome. Especially if you then follow up with like another plus ultra prominence burn and you stun 6 in your first 2 cards. And then you're giving everything +2, +3. Your rival's just not living that turn if you do that. Now, it doesn't solve its own problem. Right, because it sets up this, you have to be discarding cards from the top of your deck. Neither of the other enhances help with that, so it's not solving its own dilemma here. It's counting on you having the support in your stage and your character to be able to use this 3 times. Endeavor 3 really shouldn't have a hard time getting this response off, but other characters might, unless you build your strategy very specifically around the mill strategy, right? And then he gets first enhance. If you cycle this game, double this attack's damage. So as soon as you cycle, this is a, let's see, it's going to get +2 speed, 6, and then it's going to get +8 damage. So it's going to be a 6 low 13 with stun 3. That's insane. That is actually insane. Also, this is a punch. So if you're playing like a punch package on the Earth symbol, for example, you could play like Texas Smash, make this 9 damage, and then double it to make it 18 damage, and then give it the 3 damage from Endeavor, and now you're playing a 6 low 21 damage, stun 3. Oh, by the way, I'm going to form once per game and grab another Prominence Burn. And I'm throwing 2 attacks at you that say 21 damage. Basically, if you're playing a 7-hander, this is for your whole health. Deadlock enhance. This turn, your attacks get +2 speed and your rival cannot gain health. What? Like, basically, if your opponent built into Deadlock to try and have defense, right, ready for Endeavor to cycle, this is just going to break any wall that they had. Stun 3, +2 speed to everything the rest of the turn. This is nuts. So you're going to be surprised by the grade I give it. I'm not putting it quite in the A tier. I'm giving it a B+. So I've just talked about how awesome this card is. Why am I putting it in the B tier instead of the A tier? And the reason is that this is a card that's not just like generically awesome, right? You do have to build around it. So a lot of people probably aren't. It's like, to me, it's similar to the 6 difficulty attack Prominence Burn from Endeavor 2, in the sense that it's an amazing card, but only certain decks and certain characters are going to want to play the card. A lot of other, it's not, this is not like a back alley haymaker. Everybody's just slamming 4 copies of this. But if you're using this strategy, it's going to be incredible. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, I really should have probably said A-. All right, let's just scratch this B+ and let's pretend I said A-. Yeah, I've talked myself into this card the more I'm speaking. Probably spending too long here. It's also got Fury Punch and Powerful 3, just so I can get even more damage as if it needed it. All right, 4 diff, Slice and Burn. 2 high 5, combo off of a high block. Discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards. Latent skill, that's nice. Your rival loses 2 health. It's nice. Cannot reduce your rival below 1 health. Enhance, if you have 10 or less cards in your deck, this attack and your next attack get +2 damage. So if you're able to get the combo off, it's basically a 2 high 7, which is 9 stats on a 4 diff. That's pretty good. And you're discarding 2 and drawing 2. That's, latent skill. That's really, really nice, especially in a character that is looking to play lethal in 1 solid attack string, right? On like turn 4, you really want to dig into your deck and find those attacks and cycle your foundations and turn them into attacks. And then if you get the bottom enhance off, then, it's going to be a 4 damage with that, plus the 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now it's super solid stats, and you're digging, and you're cycling into your deck. So I'm going to put this at B+. I feel like it's right. It's almost at the A tier, but not quite. But I definitely see this card finding play, and it's a very fun card. All right, Flash Fire Fist Jet Burn. 4 difficulty, 1 mid for 4 damage. Okay, does it justify being a 1 mid? Let's find out. Enhanced card pool, mill 1. That's pretty cool. Basically, you're going to be able to mill 1 on all of your future attacks, including this one. Enhance mill 1. If this attack's speed is less than the milled card's check value, this attack is +2 speed, and you may play this ability 1 more time this enhanced step. Now, the way I read it, it does not say you can only play this enhanced twice. It says if the speed is less than the milled card's check value, you can play this 1 more time. And then if you do it again and it satisfies the requirement, you can do it again, and you can do it again. And you can do it again, and you can do it again. This is going to be fun because you can really get into some mind games with your rival's speed hate. Let's just suppose you're playing Eraserhead 1, for example. You go ahead and use that bottom enhance, and you get it to 3 speed. Awesome. Well, now, if Eraserhead 1 says, I'll give it -2 speed, then you can just say, okay, I'll do it again and get it back to 3 speed. And by the way, I'll do it again and potentially get it to 5 speed. And wow, my voice just went out on me. I'll do it again and potentially get to 5 speed. So then Eraserhead is basically just letting you try and get to 5 speed for free. Or Eraserhead could not give you the -2 speed, and then you're in this predicament of, do I go for it again? And if I fail, right, if I check a 3, if I mill a 3, then I'm not going to get the plus speed. And then Eraserhead says, okay, you can't use that enhance anymore. Now I'll give you -2 speed. Now you're at 1 speed. So it's going to set up these like little mind games that I really, really like. Those kind of interactions, those kind of gambles that you have to take with your rival. But it also sets up some fun infinite combos. So I'm going to give it a B minus. I don't see it finding play a ton, but I think it's really, really fun. But the infinite combos, like with a card like Photogenic Hero, you can immediately destroy Photogenic Hero, say it can't receive speed bonuses, and then the speed is always going to be less than the milled card's check value, and then you can just mill as many cards as you want. And let's suppose like you're Endeavor 1 and you're playing like a 150 card deck. You build Photogenic Hero turn 1, you find Jet Burn turn 2. Listen, I know we're living in fantasy world. If you have a 150 card deck, you're probably not finding the combo, right? But let's just suppose you did. Then you could just immediately mill 100 plus cards, and you could say, hey, look, it's turn 2 and all of my attacks are getting 10 plus 20 damage on them, or something crazy like that. Now, you have to have built Photogenic Hero turn 1, then find the Jet Burn, and so is this consistent enough to be actually good? Probably not, but will it be fun when it does happen? Yes. If you're playing against the person who does this, will it be fun when it happens? No. Will they errata it to make this not an infinite combo? Maybe. All right, 4 diff. Flashfire Fist, Hell Spider. 3 high, 6. Solid stats for a 4 diff right away. Already liking this card, and it's just a common. Mill 2. Nice. Your attacks this turn get +1 speed. If you've cycled this game, your attacks this turn get +1 damage. That's insane. So basically, this is a 4 high, 6 because it's going to give itself a speed. So it's a 4 high, 6 on a 4 diff. That's solid stats. Oh, and by the way, all of your future attacks are getting 1 speed. And if you cycled, they're all getting +1/+1. So this is basically the Earth, Fire, and Order symbols version of Tongue Whip. I am putting this card in the A+ category. If I was doing like an S tier category, this would be S tier, because if you're playing the Fury or ranged packages on any of these 3 symbols, you are probably immediately jamming 4 of this card, 3 to 4 of this card in all decks on those symbols. It's the definition of a staple, and it's on a common. They actually put this on a common. This is going to be such a chase card in sealed to grab this. It's basically Tongue Whip, right? Tongue Whip was 5 low 5. That's 10 stats for a 4 diff. This is 4 high 6, 10 stats for a 4 diff. And everything gets +1 speed. Tongue Whip is effectively everything else gets +1 speed. Tongue Whip can be used as a finisher, right, to get a ton of damage at the end. But this can also be a even better setup than Tongue Whip because it's giving damage to all of your future attacks. So very, very cool card. I am amazed that this card got printed. This is going to be a huge boon to these symbols, no doubt about it. The new number 1, 3 difficulty foundation. This card cannot be sealed. Enhance, commit, return this attack to its printed speed. This attack is +1 or -1 speed. That's awesome. Most cards that say that say flip or remove, and they check a 4. This is a commit, so you can use this every single turn cycle, and you can use it on offense or defense. And not only is it a reset, it's even better because you're getting an additional +1 or -1. This is awesome, and your rival cannot seal it when they're on offense. Pro Hero Enhance, mill 2, unseal 1 card in your stage. That's insane. Sorry, Selkie, you mean nothing. You can seal a card in my stage. I'll just immediately unseal it. Sorry, I'm playing an Earth deck or a Fire deck, and 2 of the symbols that Irrefutable Forces of Nature can seal a card. Not anymore. I just say bye-bye to Irrefutable Forces of Nature. This card is nuts. It's absolutely in the A tier. It will see a ton of play on all 3 symbols. Probably more so on Earth and Fire than on Order, because the Order symbol has a ton of other really strong 3 difficulty foundations. But this card is going to see play. 2 diff, gotta go faster. Remove. If your attack has at least double its printed speed, add the top card of your discard pile to your hand. That's pretty awesome. You'd use it, of course, to get an attack from your discard pile, and all you have to do is double your printed speed. A lot of characters are going to struggle with that. Endeavor 3 is not going to struggle with that. Look, every time Endeavor 3 gives 2 speed for free. If you play a Hell Spider, everything is getting an additional speed. So that's everything in your card pool is getting 3 speed. Well, this is a 3 speed attack. This is a 1 speed attack. This is a 2 speed attack. So all of those would meet the requirement of doubling your speed. That's going to be pretty consistent in Endeavor 2 and very, very strong. It does remove itself, though. Endeavor Enhanced, if you have 15 or less health, this attack is +1 damage. Guess what? By the time you're going for your lethal attack string, you're going to be at less than 15 health because your defense as Endeavor 3 is basically you can't deal 31. You know, you don't have defense on face. It's basically saying I have 31 health. I doubt you can deal 31 before I cycle and blow you up. So basically, as soon as you get to 15 or less, everything is +1 damage. That's awesome. So now, as soon as you cycle, everything's getting +2, +4. Let's say as soon as you cycle, then you play a spider. Now everything's getting +3, +5. This character is going to get crazy. He's going to get crazy. I'll put it in the B tier, though, because it's more of an Endeavor-only card. I'm not sure a lot of other characters would be playing this. Heroic Endurance. Commit, this attack is -2 damage. Playable while committed, remove, this attack is another -2 damage. So you can basically commit and remove this, give an attack -4 damage. That feels very strong, but it's a 2 difficulty foundation. It's a 3 block mid block with a bad block modifier. So I am not super into this card. I'm going to put this into the C tier. I'll give it C+ because -4 damage is certainly not nothing. I just don't see it actually finding play above the other 2 difficulty foundations on these symbols. 0 difficulty foundation, 1-man Inferno. This is awesome because the fire symbol has absolutely needed playable 0 diffs. And what does the fire symbol like to do? It likes to mill cards. And this says mill 1, your rival mills 1. You might say, well, this is ridiculous. This isn't really doing anything. It's actually doing a whole heck of a lot. I mean, first, let's just suppose you're playing Jiro. And Jiro uses their Enhance to look at the top 2 cards of either player's deck and put them in their order. And then you say, nah, let's just go ahead and mill the top. You know, you get to play those mind games with Jiro. Let's suppose you're playing an opponent and they stack their deck with like that 6 difficulty attack of All Might 6. I can't quite remember its name. Let's suppose they stack their deck with that. You can just say, nah, go ahead and mill it. Yeah, anytime your opponent tries to stack their deck for some sort of benefit, you're going to get rid of that benefit. And then if you have cards like what's that one kick that's a 1-high-6 that has benefits if the top card of your discard is an attack and if the top card of your discard is a foundation. Can't remember the name of it, but this gives you extra chances at that, or like on the earth symbol, like Loving Father, it gives you extra chances at, or You're Finished on the order symbol, just gives you extra chances at those type of enhances. Mill 1 is, of course, going to be amazing in mill characters like Endeavor 1, Shoto 1, Endeavor 3, even maybe like Tokoyami 1. I see this 0 difficulty foundation actually finding a lot of play for such a simple enhance. It feels, I'm actually now that I'm seeing this card, I'm kind of surprised that this card hasn't already existed. It just feels so obvious that this would be a nice 0 difficulty foundation in the game. Also, something about this art I just really like. It really shows off that they made the text box smaller and more art. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just like this card. So I'm going to put it in the B tier because obviously it's not doing anything incredible. This isn't really winning you games, but it is nice to have. And that is going to do it for Endeavor and Dobby. I was really blown away by these kits. Let's see. In Endeavor's kit, I only gave one thing in the C tier, and I changed this one to an A-. Okay, so this is officially an A-. So we had plus Prominence Burn as an A. We had Hell Spider as an A. We had New Number 1 as an A. And then in Dobby, we had No Remorse as an A. And Blue Flame Torment as an A. And then we had quite a bit of cards as a B+ tier.